so that's gonna have to go there. All right. This is totally not professional at all. This will be in the front of the video again.
Professionalism.
All right, so going into the opening. Hi, and welcome to day 2 of this new experiment of Foster Opinion Live. I am your host, Travis Foster, and now you're able to see me and my co-host for today, Mr. Dylan Tierney. And yeah, we're going to definitely go into. We're doing this whole new thing of a weekly show. I'm going to go ahead and take that whole thing off. There we go. But yeah, we're doing a whole thing of a daily show. And I am joined by Mr. Dylan Tierney. He is a writer. He's a writer over at StackUp.org, and he is a co-podcaster with me on PNB. And Dylan, good morning and welcome to the live show.
Good afternoon, Travis. Glad to be here.
Well, it's morning somewhere. Like if you're on the West Coast, it's still morning.
I mean, yeah, you've got any West Coasters, yeah.
Yeah. So, Dylan, for people who don't know you, I'll kind of get some stuff pulled up. Tell people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been buds with Travis for, gosh, at least 5 to 6 years at this point, because we all kind of got our start on an old forum back in the day, back in about 2009, 2010. Back when I was starting high school. Isn't that weird? Because I'm finishing college. God, that's actually really weird to think about, but me and Trav have been down similar paths in terms of wanting to write and wanted to create content and stuff, and now branch into video, and now we are. I've been kind of just slumming it in school for a little while, picking up some new trades while I can, and learn more stuff like Photoshop and Premiere and InDesign and stuff like that.
All right, yeah, but what if people want to know, you're writing, like I said it before yesterday, I've written on sites like Front Towards Gamer, PTFGM, which was my own site. Dylan was one of the newer editors that we brought on originally in PTFGN during like the second run of talent. So originally it was myself, Curtis Stone, John Levert, Ben McGuire, and Louis Lugo, and then I think it was you were part of the initial, when we gained more people. It was you, Trevor Howard, AJ Sitch to a degree, and I know I'm missing people. Jake Peterson, Gabe. I forgot Gabe's last name, but we had all these like really young writers.
Yellow or something?
Huh?
Yayo or Yellow?
Yeah, I think
Something
Gabe
like
Yayo. Yeah. But yeah, you guys were a lot of young writers, so it's always been really weird to me. Not weird, but kind of interesting to me see where you guys go, especially like you, like people who don't know. Dylan's a fantastic writer, and he's done a lot of really cool stuff. So that's always been really weird to me to see, you guys kind of branch out and do different things.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey just to see, even in the last couple years, a lot of things have been changing for a lot of different people. So.
All right. But yeah, so this show, like I said, is a daily show. We kind of talk about different stuff. And again, this is going to play really weird because Dylan can't hear anything because how Skype really works. But it's basketball season. And it is time for the New York Knicks to go. So I'm going to play this real quick. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to miss it. I'm missing it. I'm doing it wrong. This is why you have a live show.
Professional.
But
We don't have a Kevin Coelho to yell at, sadly.
we don't. Like I said, I am producing and shooting it myself. But
So I get to yell at you.
yes, you do. But for people who are listening, you hear it. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. We are the New York Knicks. I am so happy. This is, of course, the beginning of the basketball season. And while I will not have time to vent about all this stuff, as a Knicks fan, this is, of course, the best day of being a Knicks fan. Because we are undefeated right now. We have not lost. So, we're going to go right into this.
Congratulations, Travis. I'm glad you called it Lee. I know you put a lot of sweat and tears to the team.
I have. What's funny is because you can't hear it, and this is so great that I can just have the music going. So,
I can tell it's playing though because your audio gets real quiet when that happens.
Yeah, this is how you get the audio going. Okay, so yeah. Thank you guys for indulging me in my sports talk. But yeah, it's basketball season, and it's very interesting.
You are welcome.
It's a very interesting basketball season, and I'll probably end up putting words to it. With stuff going on with like the Golden State Warriors, could they possibly like a video game team? Like we don't know. Like there's so many really cool things going on this season, but that's also not what's new today. What is new today is there are new releases. So yesterday I was able to talk because I had like a more broader subject. That's something I had very important thoughts on. I'm going to ask Dylan a little bit about that in a little bit. But today we really don't have anything that broader. So we do have a list though of the games that are coming out this week. So we're going to go through some of the games, some of the anticipation, and see what maybe people are thinking about it, including Dylan, who is a games journalologist. All right, so the big release today is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Of course.
Too fast, too Xenoverse. I've never played. I played a little bit of this at PAX. The Dragon Ball Xenoverse game. I played a little bit of it at PAX. I think these games are a little bit more obtuse, right? Like
It's a bit more high concept than a lot of other ones that are just trying to be weird fighting games. Like
Right.
Xenoverse is this. It has some pseudo MMO elements to it, and like a battle arena stuff. It was fine. I people really liked Xenoverse like a lot, so that's why I think they cranked out a Xenoverse 2 so quick, and they have new material for the first time in like 20 years. So
right. Yeah, and that's what I think. That's what I think. It's like really it's really cool that they do like their own little brand new thing. But I tried to play it. Like I said, I tried to play it at PAX West 2016 this year. And I really didn't get into it. Just like I said, it didn't like the Budokai. Excuse me, the Budokai games I can pick up and play, right? And I'm able to kind of adjust myself to them and kind of move forward on them. Xenoverse kind of like I said, it feels very more obtuse. I understand what they're trying to do. I just wish they went the more CyberConnect route and went more anime. Like you're playing like
an Arc System works, like a fighting game.
Yeah, but like make it where it's like you're more in line of doing the stuff, and it's like the big cool moves, right? And that's the really cool thing about the new Naruto Shippuden games is like you do these really big cool moves, and then it plays itself like an anime. So that's kind of where I think this should go, but it's not, and there's an audience for it. So obviously, if you are a big fan of the Xenoverse, you have Xenoverse 2 that is coming out. I don't know what the storyline is for that.
I think it's just more alternate universe stuff. I'm seeing a lot of Gohan from Future Trunks' timeline, so I'm assuming maybe there's something where they pull him in from there. I think more movies are being just thrown around because they're kind of the weird own universe thing, and a little bit of Dragon Ball Super, although it's not that much. They'll probably if they I think there's a season pass, so you can expect a lot of Dragon Ball Super DLC. You got your Super Saiyan Rose, you got your Goku Black, you got your fucking. They're bringing fusions back, I think, because why not?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing with this game is like all the fusions, like every every bit as a fusion. I think is the big.
Well, no, there's actually a 3DS game called Dragon Ball Fusions where they are
Oh,
actually
that's the
operating on that.
one. Yeah, that's the one.
That's the
That's
one you're
all.
thinking of, where there's like a 6-person fusion. Like they're just going. Somebody had too much power over at Bandai Namco where they're making that game.
All right. Also, and this is coming from Ubisoft. Do you have your dancing shoes on? I should have played the New York Knicks song right here.
Just Dance.
Just Dance 2017 is coming out on Xbox One, Wii U, and PS4 today. Those Just Dance games are really fun, and they make Ubisoft a lot of money. So I will never say anything negative about that. Go Just Dance.
Just Dance.
I
I think you can use your phone now.
Huh?
Like you use your phone to track the motions or something.
It's one of those things. I know that they
involves with the technology.
Right, they definitely go more multimedia, and it makes sense, right, for that audience of doing the Just Dance, where you're going to go around and you're going to play all these different dance games, and like for it to be such a casual thing, it would make sense for it to be full on open source, right, where you can do it on your phone or you can do it on your system. And now that we have VR, eventually you're going to be looking for going more VR for it, right? So we're definitely going to see more.
I don't know. We'll see. Motion controls made more immediate sense, but we'll see.
All right. There is a Darksiders War Master edition that is coming out on the PC today, and I think this is I think this is kind of news because of Darksiders. I think is going to be coming a little bit more relevant. Excuse me, with THQ Nordic, moving forward with that stuff, and then
that Switch support.
Yeah,
they're on the list.
One of the things, me and Dylan did a P&B on the Nintendo Switch reveal, which is kind of like, it was like a precursor to this type of format. So yeah, we did a P&B, which is our podcast, which is at pnbcast.wordpress.com, about the Switch reveal, and this was one of the developers that I thought was a really cool thing. So yeah, Darksiders War Master Edition. If you want to play a really fun Zelda clone on the PC, you could go worse.
Yeah, you could do a lot worse. But is that on consoles yet?
From the list I have from GameSpot.com, shout out Tony Wilson. No, it hasn't said yet. It hasn't said it hasn't been on there.
Maybe it's just easier for them to make just repackage the PC version.
Now, a couple games that are going to be available later on this week. We have the Skyrim. We have the Skyrim.
Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of schedule.
Yeah, we'll get, because that's the big one, right? And we'll get there. But we have the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Special Edition, which is a in-joke with me and Dylan, because we run a podcast where we talk.
Anybody who knows us too, it's just like Travis just can't play Skyrim to save his life.
I'm not great at Skyrim. And it's
now you have another chance.
Yeah, I have another chance to not be great at Skyrim. It's my biggest problem with open world games. I'm not like the hugest fan of Fallout, because I like a direction, right? And Fallout 3, I think, is still a little bit more directionful than Skyrim was. Skyrim was very much like you can do whatever you want to do, and it's really.
I mean, I get what you mean by direction, but there really is literally like an ability you get a couple hours in that is, here's a line that will take you to your objective. Just follow this line, like a breadcrumb trail. I guess it's not there soon enough. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It wasn't for me. So I'm gonna give it a go. I am a fan of Bethesda Studios, and I definitely want to support them because the New Order,
the Knicks.
Wolfenstein New Order was great. Doom is great. Doom is
that on sale.
Yeah, Doom is actually one of my Game of the Year stuff, and I'm probably going to do like a full episode like on my Game of the Year type things. And Doom has been such a great game. So yeah, I definitely have been enjoying it. And actually, speaking of Game of the Year stuff, just like a quick aside, I started playing the Hitman 2016, and it's really fun. I think it's a little more obtuse for my liking and how I like to play video games, but it's fun to a degree. So have been giving that a go. I'm just in the prologue, but it's been pretty fun. So yeah, you kind of hinted at it a little bit ago. The big release this week. Well, there's two big releases, right? So the big release that we're going to talk about at first is Titanfall. Titanfall 2 is coming to PC, Xbox One, and PS4 on Friday, October 28th. Now, this is a big deal because Titanfall was only on Xbox One. Is that correct? Or was it on PC as well?
If I recall, it came to PC a little later, but it never came to PS4.
Right.
It was a big when the Xbox One was in its launch window period. That was its big thing, and I think it initially did strong, but kind of struggled. So this is the one that they want people to break out, and they added a campaign, they added a bunch of flourishes, they added a bunch of new stuff just to make this game as big as it can be. And they're probably banking on this one pretty good.
Yeah. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Titanfall is a franchise franchise. This is a game I never played. I didn't because I don't really own Xbox One. I play it when I can. I play an Xbox One when I can get my hands on it. But I do not own an Xbox One, so I never really got a chance to get it. Get a chance to play it. And I love mechs. I love mechs and robots. Gundam is one of my favorite series, and I like Zoids. I love Power Rangers. I love giant robot stuff. Right. So
I really want on this pod or this show, I want you to argue with Austin Walker about your favorite Gundam and why. What's the best? Because I know you've literally been never been more offended at him than when he said that Gundam Wing was the best.
So let's go into this, right? It's my show, and I can do whatever I want. And I can foster opinions. And that's a good question of the week thing. So I like that, or question of the day. So Gundam, I come at Gundam. Wait, first I want to kind of boom. I am a giant '90s anime weeb, right? Weeaboo, which means giant dork ass nerd about Japanese animation, and I really got into Gundam like everyone else did during the whole Funimation Tsunami Blitz, right? Well, I mean Gundam is Sunrise, but you know what I mean. It's the whole Toonami thing, and the thing was I watched Gundam Wing like everyone else did, and when it was the block was like Gundam Wing, Ronin Warriors, Dragon Ball, and Sailor Moon. So I watched all those shows a lot and had a very I did my best to watch those shows and make an effort to watch everything. I just always found Gundam Wing boring as shit. So as they showed more Gundam, I kept on watching. So I watched Double OS. I watched Char's Counterattack, which is a fantastic movie. I watched what the hell is the name of that movie? There is actually a movie. There is actually a Gundam Wing movie that I can't think of the name of, but I like that movie. Endless Waltz. There we go. Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. I think Endless Waltz is a good name. Is a good movie. So I enjoyed what I watched of just Gundam, and then I watched G Gundam, right? And to me, G Gundam, me and Dylan are both fighting game fans, right? And I'm a huge Street Fighter fan, and G Gundam is the most Street Fighter wrestling ass Gundam, because it's a whole story of, hey, what happens when you have these two characters who are going to fight each other for their country, and then you have the whole thing of dealing with Neo Germany and dealing with Domonkashi finding his brother who is captured by the Dark Gundam. It's fantastic and it's awesome and it's insane. And Gundam Wing is Babby's first political thriller. It is dumb and there's no likable characters, and I really hate Gundam Wing. I don't know why people enjoy it. I think some of the mech designs are pretty cool, but that's about it.
Maybe it's that. Maybe it is just a mech, from a pure aesthetic standpoint.
And it's only one mech that's
iconic.
There's only one mech that's cool, and that's the Death Scythe. Every other one is awful, and they're all boring. the best main character design mech, other than the RX-07, the original Gundam suit. The original Gundam suit is a classic, right? And a lot of the main character suits are riffs on that. So the original Gundam suit is a classic. But the other one that's badass is the Burning Gundam, or the God Gundam. Like, its design aesthetic is really great. It's Gundam Wing is great. Oh, Gundam Wing is great. Wow, that's weird Freudian.
Yeah, it is.
Gundam
I'm
G
isolating
Gundam is great. Gundam Wing sucks, and it's awful. It's probably the second worst Gundam series next to Gundam Seed. Gundam Seed is everything bad about early 2000 anime.
I feel like not a lot of people like Gundam Seed.
No, it's really awful. And I think it was like the first Adult Swim Gundam, so it was even worse. But yeah, Titanfall comes out, and I'm very interested to see that whole, how that's gonna kind of translate to more of a mass audience, right?
We'll see. There's a lot of shooters this year, man. Like, just within a short window of each other. You got Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare coming up. You got Titanfall 2 today. Battlefield 1 came out last week.
Yep, with the
fire tornado. And they're both from EA, so.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing, right? This is, like, at least with Titanfall 1, it was a very distinct experience for one system, right? So you're able to do just a little bit. You don't have to kind of do so much. But yeah, like, I am very interested to see what is going to happen with Titanfall 2. Now that it is being a little more of a mass push, they are now the Mountain Dew Gamer Fuel campaign is Titanfall 2. So we'll see how that goes.
Wrestled it away from Activision.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's you get spicy mango or cherry. It was cherry something. I remember it was very underwhelming. That's what it was. Cherry underwhelming.
I thought you were naming mechs like they're Jaegers or something.
No, I wish they were Jaegers. Like
that's like a fantastic promotion if I ever heard of one.
Couldn't Titanfall just do like the full on, basically doing a Jaeger thing, right? And
that would be Danger.
Really cool. Yeah. But yeah, so Titanfall, and then the other big game this week is World of Final Fantasy, coming out for.
Wait, did you talk about Civ 6?
That was last week. We didn't have a show last week.
Oh, so it came out last Friday then?
Yeah, it came out last Friday. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about Civ 6. I can't say anything. I didn't buy it. I was going to.
Me neither.
But I didn't get a chance to, so I didn't buy it. So I haven't really got a chance to play Civ 6, but I've heard nothing but good things. I am very interested to see it, and I can't wait to check it out.
So World of Final Fantasy.
World of Final Fantasy.
People keep telling me it's like if Kingdom Hearts was both parts Final Fantasy.
I mean, it looks really cool. It's supposed to be like, it's like a Kingdom Hearts, like also like a dungeon, like a dungeon crawler. What's that game that everyone likes? Monster Hunter.
Roguelike.
Monster Hunter. Like, it's supposed to be like a chibi Monster Hunter, Kingdom Hearts action RPG. With all these characters.
On the Vita
and the PS4. And I'm very interested to see how people will enjoy that game. It looks really cool. It looks really fun, and those Final Fantasy characters, like those legacy characters, they mean something to everybody, right? So, and that's a big thing, What is your favorite? Or is your first Final Fantasy? And normally that character, or your favorite Final Fantasy, normally that character kind of resonates with you, right? So being able to enjoy that character and play with that character makes it a lot easier to kind of enjoy, right? And kind of get.
Are they even gonna have Squall?
They shouldn't. He's an awful character from a bad video game, so I don't know why they would ever have Squall in anything. Final Fantasy VIII is the worst. Like Gundam Wing and Final Fantasy VIII are awful things.
Here's one of the tightest niche rivalries: is Final Fantasy VIII versus Final Fantasy IX, because it's really hard to find people who like both.
Well,
most people either hate one and love the other.
Well, and I think nine 9 it has its faults, right? It does a lot, and there's not really a really good main character, and a really good centralized main character, right? So
I mean, did 6 have a centralized main character? Like,
well,
what, Terra?
no, because you have your whole thing with Terra, but really it's about Locke's and Salisa's relationship, which is I think is more important. Like six has that problem too, right? The ones that everyone likes, there are so many main characters, and they have hey, here's the character you can glom upon, right? Or they like 7 because 7 was a revolution in gaming, whether if it takes forever to start or whatnot. But that's a Final Fantasy problem, right?
Right.
Other than 4, like 4 is like, fuck you, we're starting off, we're gonna blow up a city right away. Everything else is like, well, no, we have to stop and go to the Golden Saucer, and then we have to go and do this, and yeah, like.
Yeah, 4 really does start out with a pretty breakneck pace compared to the other ones.
4 does not stop. Like I think, like, to me, Chrono Trigger is the perfect RPG because it has a really good pacing, and it gives you time to breathe with those characters. I think those characters mean a lot, and I've gone on theories before on a podcast and all the other stuff I've tried to write that it's the ultimate you are the gamer. It's projecting onto you. Chrono has no words, and I think that's not only is it by design with the silent protagonist, however, everything is pushed and assumed onto you. So Chrono, he is so much a proxy of the character. It makes all the sense in the world for him not to have any words and not to say anything. So that's where I have that, with that kind of a look into it. So it's definitely, it is definitely very germane to, hey, you are projecting onto this character, right? And I think every other character has a very strong character art, and they are able to grow in a very significant way. I think they do such a really good job with it.
Now, how does this tie back into World of Final Fantasy again?
Well, I was going into Final Fantasy where all those characters
in general,
like they don't get no chance to breathe, right? And a lot of the ones after Final Fantasy 4, like, because Final Fantasy 4, it's very desperate, and I was really just talking about the breadth of a character because we're talking about the 7 and 9 comparison. Final Fantasy 4, right? That one, there's no wait. Everything happens, and you're going, and you're going, and you're going, right? You go with these characters because you're feeling how desperate they are, but then it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. Final Fantasy 6, there are so many characters, and there is that sense of like, hey, it just keeps going, going, going. But then World of Ruin happens, and Kefka destroys everything, and then it stops. Final Fantasy 7 stops so many times. Final Fantasy 8 stops so many times. Final Fantasy 9, it has the same thing where it keeps going and going and going, but it also does have some stops, and then Kujo sucks, and there's so many great characters, but the villains are awful, so yeah. Kujo's also a tree. Everyone gives shit about Final Fantasy 5 being a tree, but then Kujo is a tree, and that's just as fucking stupid. So, yeah. But man. I like 9. But yeah, so I think it's gonna be a really fun game if you really like those those characters, and you want to enjoy them in a different thing. They're adorable. I like when they do these little different things like theaterism. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was like a really cool.
It's really good send up of Final Fantasy music,
yeah.
Especially Curtain Call, because they have like 200 something songs. You can buy other Square Enix songs like from Bravely Default and Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, which, cool. Like I said, I'm always here for Chrono Trigger music.
Man.
But yeah, that is the new releases for this week. And Dylan, before we head out, this one will be like a shorter one. I've been doing 2 30-minute episode ones, and that's. I don't know if this show is going to be 30 minutes or an hour. I think it'll be depending on the news. Unfortunately, there's not really like news that we can talk about that is very big, right? There's nothing that's really been released or.
I mean, without getting too meta, maybe this show isn't the one for a lot of tangents and stuff. I think we could save that for like a podcast format. This can be a bit more straight laced. Right. And where you were going with the Final Fantasy stuff was good, but it almost to me veered into the podcast realm of sort of going off topic and talking about like, well, let's talk about why every villain in Final Fantasy sucks.
Yeah,
because it's not really that wrong.
Right. No. And that'll probably end up like a day where I have no news. Like I could probably
Yeah.
just do that as a 30-minute episode,
So when
right?
there's a lot of news or when there's a big tentpole news piece, we can talk about it then.
Yeah.
All
But
right, that makes more sense.
yeah. But so like you said, yesterday I did speak about the strike by SAG-AFTRA, the Voice Actors Union. And I didn't know if you had any thoughts about it, Dylan. I'm very much under the understanding, and again, I want to preface this. I am very ignorant to how games are made, and that is me not being a developer or a publisher, right? I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know the monetary values. However, I'm looking at this more as a rights to work way into it, right? I I like yourself am a consumer, right? So when we look at the bottom line, we always think about here's the final product, right? We never look about the things that go in, and again, this is also into what I'm looking at it as a guy who is pro union, but we don't look about what is going in. And with these voice actors, because they are freelance voice actors, because they are doing so many other things, like their voice is their instrument, right? Like
Yeah.
I I think that they should be able to get a free. They should be able to get more money and get more rights into it. But again, I'm
Oh
looking at
yeah,
it
for
very
sure.
much.
That's the thing is that when people bring up the counterpoint of oh well, I mean developers don't get like dividends or like cuts of what the game sales, and I'm like, well, they should. Like
Yeah,
just because somebody else is getting screwed over doesn't mean somebody like the original person deserves it too. Like there should be a bigger split of the pie, and that as a consequence, we might get more expensive games, or we might have games that kind of fluctuate a little bit when it comes to a value proposition. But I think that's what's right. You know, I don't like what people like Rockstar have conceivably done with some games like GTA 4, like where they just kind of screw over people in the beginning because they don't really know what they're up for.
right. No, that's what I said. It's like it's oh, well, we had a little bit of a drop. So yeah. What Dylan said, I'm going to hide his real quick. This is what happens when you have a live show. Dylan, are you back?
Am I back? Can you see me?
I can see you. Yes.
All right, cool. Then I'm back.
We're live.
I
Like,
hate
if there's ever a question, is the show live? Yeah. No, we're
It's a
live.
live show. No, my
Yeah.
literally my hand slipped. I hit the home button for too long, and it turned on Siri, and it just I guess shut down Skype for a second.
Yeah. We don't have a producer.
So yeah,
um,
this next time I won't be on my phone. Hopefully.
yeah, next time. But no, I agree with you. I think there's very much a. I think there's very much as consumers, we're very much of like here's the final product, right? We want from conception to final product, and that's how we look at things. We have to look at things at stuff being developed. And like you said, it's not to say that these developers are assholes or like they don't deserve it and this guy deserves it. It's like no, we should be pushing for more in this realm. It should become
And
a
more people
bigger
should be able
thing.
to unionize because I've heard countless horror stories about like development working workloads and like 80, 90 hour weeks and crunch time and like I think the most recent one I saw was like Amy Hennig, like during her stay on the Uncharted franchise had a lot of that, and it's like, well, that's not right, you know, and like the end result is a pretty good game, or even a great game. I don't know if even that's worth it, you know, like
Right.
people should have just normal freaking hours.
Right. All right. But speaking of normal hours, that is going to be today's episode. Like I said, it's a short one. We just want to go in. Like I said, when we do have more actual news come up,
Newsness.
they'll probably be a little bit longer episodes because we'll have more of a dialogue and more of a discussion. But it's Tuesday, and we're really talking about games that come out this week. If there is no news tomorrow, I am going to go into why your Final Fantasy sucks. Like I think I'm going to just call the episode that. It's like why your Final Fantasy sucks. So there's no news tomorrow. So Dylan, if these people want to follow you on your social medias, where would they be able to find you at?
You can follow me on Twitter at Tierney. You can follow the pod. Sorry, I went into plug mode for the podcast. I've never done it on this show.
Yeah.
Whew. Fostering Opinions is on Facebook though.
Yes, it
And
is.
do you not have a Twitter handle for it?
I do. I haven't got a chance. I think I'll be doing that today because I've
Revamp
been
it.
working. Yeah, of posting it out, kind of reworking the logo thing that I have, a little treatment. In all disclosure, I work a full job overnight. Today didn't come up at 10 because I worked a little bit earlier last night. Got off at 4, So I figured I'd take a little nap before the show, and I slept, and it was like 9:45. So it takes a minute for me to get everything set up and show run and all this other stuff. So that's just full disclosure. But a lot of the assets, a lot of stuff I've made on was really on the fly. Today is my first day I've had off since last Tuesday, so I'll be kind of working a little bit more to get more assets and stuff. Working on an overlay, so you're not seeing black bars over me and Dylan. Next time we'll have a full overlay for it, and I'm just going to be trying to do more stuff. Just a quick note for people who may not know what I'm going to be doing. Later on today, I'm not sure when it will be coming up. I'll be meeting with Jared Green, who is a freelance writer. We're going to be talking a little bit about WWE 2K17, the most recent WWE game. I'm probably talking about wrestling games in general. Like Dylan said, we have a podcast called PNB, and 2 weeks ago I gave a very impassioned speech about how I feel about sports games, right? And honestly, if Dylan wouldn't have came on, I probably would have done that again. If we don't have news later on this week, I'll probably do that fully on here. But I think sports games, I think we've become very stagnant with it, and I think there's a way to make these games a lot more interesting without doing the very commonplace games media. Oh, well, it's just a roster update. Like, I think there's ways to do that, and I've elocuted them before, and I will be going over those again. But yeah, like Dylan said, we have a podcast called PNB. You can find it at pnbcast.wordpress.com. And it's also on Twitter at PNB Podcast.
Shoot for every Friday, and a lot of times we can hit it, but sometimes we don't. Yeah. But we're getting better at it, I think. Especially compared to like last year. Last year we'd have like 6-week breaks or something, and it's like, well, kind of got to nip that in the bud.
Yeah. So we have definitely gotten a little bit more
timely and like scheduled.
Yeah.
All that kind of jazz.
Yeah. So we do stuff. One of the reasons why doing this very much doing this web show. It's it's portfolio building, right? So like. Again, so like it gives you kind of a thing in. So,
and speaking of such, you might want to keep your eyes peeled. I have a potential freelance opportunity coming up. I won't say where yet; it's not set in stone. But you might see me somewhere. Getting a little money for the words I write.
All right. But yeah, this is Fostering Opinion. Again, my name is Shaz Foster, and in today's question, what is your favorite Gundam? What is the Gundam that you watch and you're like, hey, I really enjoy watching that? Please leave it in
Gundam Winger. He'll block you on Twitter.
Please put it in the comment below, or you can follow me on Twitter at TurboBison, or go to the Facebook page at Fostering Opinion. All right. Thank you, Dylan, for joining me today. I will see you guys tomorrow at 10.
Peace.